What it is, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. I'm going to start with a video of Sean Hannity's opening monologue from last night. We're talking about perverts in politics, and there is no bigger perv than we know about, although maybe we know, than Bill Clinton on the record, all these women. So I'm going to play this, and then we're going to talk about Al Franken, and we'll also be taking phone calls.
Sexual misconduct now swirling around U.S. Senate candidate Judge Roy Moore. The left and the liberal media, they're finally starting to re-examine what is their deplorable defense over the years, Bill Clinton's long history of disturbing sexual abuse allegations. It has taken almost 30 years for the left, the liberal, destroy Trump media, to finally start admitting Bill Clinton targeted women for decades with criminal impunity. Take a look at this headline from a liberal publication. A little late. The Atlantic. Bill Clinton, a reckoning. Feminists saved the 42nd president of the United States in the 1990s. They were on the wrong side of history. Is it finally time to make things right? Yes, it's beyond time. And then there's this op-ed from the New York Times that has the headline, quote, "I believe Juanita." But that's not all. Members of the mainstream media, they're even starting to realize that what Bill Clinton did was beyond disgraceful. His conduct should never, ever, ever have been defended in the first place. What do you see some of the tape we have for you tonight? Look at this tweet. Give him credit. Chris Hayes over at MSNBC. As gross and cynical and hypocritical as the right's, well, what about Bill Clinton stuff is, it's also true. Democrats and the center left are overdue for a real reckoning with the allegations against him. Take a look at what CNN's Jake Tapper had to say. Watch this.
The accusers of Bill Clinton back in the 90s were never given the credence and treated with the same respect that these women are being treated. And I think that there is something to be said about how society has evolved since then. But in addition, it's hard not to look back at that period and think, you know what, the media treated those women poorly.
Now, some of the media are coming to terms with what they did and what they said and how they covered it all up, because what they did, the things they did to protect Bill Clinton and discredit at a high level his accusers, is beyond indefensible. It is shameful. Let me explain. You're not going to see this anywhere else on television. Back in 1992, during the presidential primaries, remember the name Jennifer Flowers? She went public. She revealed she had a 12-year affair with Bill Clinton. She even released taped phone conversations to deal with the allegation. What did the Clinton campaign do? They set up a war room. It sprung into action. Their job to smear and discredit Jennifer Flowers and Bill and Hillary. Then they go on 60 Minutes, lie, deny the charges. And what did they do? They attack Jennifer Flowers' character. Watch this.
She's a legend and is described in some detail in a supermarket tabloid, which she calls a 12-year affair with you.
That allegation is false.
When this woman first got caught up in these charges, I felt, as I felt about all of these women, that, you know, they've just been minding their own business and they got hit by a meteor. I mean, it was no fault of their own. We reached out to them. I met with two of them to reassure them they were friends of ours. I felt terrible about what was happening to them. You know, Bill talked to this woman every time she called, distraught, saying her life was going to be ruined. And, you know, he'd get off the phone and tell me that she said sort of wacky things, which we thought were attributable to the fact that she was terrified.
I'm assuming from your answer that you're categorically denying that you ever had an affair with Jennifer Flowers.
I've said that before, and so is she.
I've said that before, and so is she. They were lying. And because he later had to admit during a deposition, he finally admitted during the Monica Lewinsky case that he did, in fact, have that sexual encounter with Jennifer Flowers. And then there's Hillary Clinton. That was only the beginning of her attempts to smear her husband's accusers, to further attack Flowers. Hillary Clinton told Vanity Fair, watch this, well, if we'd been in front of a jury, I'd say, Miss Flowers, isn't it true you were asked by the AP in June of 1990 and you said no? Weren't you asked by the Arkansas Democrat and you said no? I mean, I would crucify her. Really, Hillary? Crucify her? And it gets worse. In his book about Hillary, Carl Bernstein, of all people, wrote that Clinton referred to Jennifer Flowers as, quote, trailer trash, and that Clinton undertook a, quote, aggressive campaign to go after Flowers. Years later, I did interview Jennifer Flowers, where she described her affair with Bill Clinton and how she feared for her safety. Watch this.
I regret very much that I have had to go through and the country has had to go through what it has gone through in the last several years. There were times when he wanted to be intimate, when Hillary would be close by, and I wouldn't, because I was more concerned with the circumstances. I personally feel that if I had not become public when I did, even though I had not planned it, that I wouldn't be sitting here talking with you now. I think something would have happened to me. I think most of the women that have been involved with Bill Clinton have told of situations where they were threatened. My home was entered 3 times and ransacked. That was a horrible feeling. That was, you know, that was pretty darn close. My mother received a threatening phone call that said your daughter would be better off dead. So there were a lot of things that happened over the course of this time that caused me to be very concerned for myself.
And she was smeared for years, and she had told the truth. Then there's Paula Jones. She accused Bill Clinton of confronting her in a hotel room and dropping his pants and exposing himself, and worse. Watch this.
We did some small talk, and then he started kind of getting a little comfortable and trying to he said that he loved the way my hair flowed down my back of my clothes, and he liked my curves. Then he leaned up and he pulled me up towards him, and he was going to try to kiss on me. And so then I tried to distract him again. I was trying to, and I thought, what am I doing? My mind is racing. I said, well, I may need to be going or something. And next thing you know, he pulled down his, he sat down, pulled down his pants, his whole everything, and he was exposed. And I said, I'm not that kind of girl, and I need to be getting back to my desk.
And she said that many times prior. In 1998, Bill Clinton ended up paying Paula Jones $850,000 in out-of-court settlement for her to drop her sexual harassment charges against him. And in a related case, Bill Clinton actually lost his license to practice law in Arkansas for 5 years. No, not many people in the media report that. And according to the New York Times, CNN, and many other outlets, longtime Clinton ally James Carville said this about Paula Jones, quote, if you drag a $100 bill through a trailer park, you never know what you'll find. Oh, he worked at fake news CNN. Paula Jones later said that there was no way that Hillary did not know that her husband was abusing women. Next, we got former White House intern Monica Lewinsky. Bill Clinton infamously lied about having a sexual relationship with Lewinsky. Remember this.
I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate. In fact, it was wrong.
Now, just like the other accusers, Hillary had a less than flattering nickname for Monica Lewinsky. According to a journal entry that was made public, Hillary's friend, Diane Blair, described Hillary's reaction to the Lewinsky scandal as, quote, well, she says to his credit that he tried to break it off, tried to pull away, tried to manage someone who was clearly a narcissistic Looney Tune, but it was beyond control. In an interview with Diane Sawyer in 2014, Hillary Clinton was given a chance to deny that she ever said that about Monica Lewinsky. And Clinton, well, interestingly, decided to decline a comment. Watch this. Oh, okay. Sorry, it didn't show up. Now, next is Kathleen Willey. I've interviewed her many times. She's a former volunteer White House aide and accused Bill Clinton of sexual misconduct in 1993. I have interviewed Kathleen Willey many times about this encounter. This now gets worse and worse. Watch this.
No woman should be subjected to it. It was an assault.
He assaulted you?
Yes.
He touched, grabbed, fondled, and kissed you against your will?
Yes.
And it's an allegation that is not made by one woman. It's made by multiple
Many
women.
of us.
Now, Kathleen Willey would later slam Hillary Clinton for enabling her husband's behavior. And finally, there's the most serious, the most disturbing allegation against Bill Clinton. According to Juanita Broderick, Bill Clinton raped her in 1978 when he was the Attorney General of the state of Arkansas. Take a look at this. You described a scene where he was biting on your lip, and then when it was all over, he was leaving. Said, you better put some ice on that.
Yeah, and casually put on his sunglasses and walked out the door. And I've told my friend who came back and found me that I was sitting there crying and so upset at the time. And I felt like that the next person would be somebody coming through the door to get rid of the body. That's just about how I had absolutely couldn't believe what had happened to me.
You begged them to stop?
Yes.
And during that same interview, Juanita Broderick explained why she was fearful to come forward to tell her story. Watch this. People say, well, you waited 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Do you regret waiting, and why did you wait?
No, I don't regret waiting, because I don't think it would have been received any better at that time than it is now. I don't think it's anything anybody wants to hear, that the Attorney General of the state of Arkansas did something like this. No one wanted to hear that, and it was my word against his.
Why did you originally deny it, considering this was a legal matter?
Did you see what happened to Jennifer Flowers? Did you see what was happening to Paula Jones? My allegation. Yes. No, not afraid. I just knew what would happen.
Now, you just heard Bill Clinton's accusers, in their own words, describe in graphic detail what they say happened to them. Now, despite all of that, the Democrats, the liberal, destroy Trump media, the mainstream media, they didn't believe them. They attacked them. They discredited these women. And Hillary Clinton, well, she chalked it all up to some bizarre, vast right-wing conspiracy. Remember this.
The great story here, for anybody willing to find it and write about it and explain it, is this vast right-wing conspiracy that has been conspiring against my husband since the day he announced for president.
Now, this tells you everything you need to know about how Hillary Clinton sees these victims. It's part of a much larger pattern that we've seen over decades. For example, Clinton's 1992 presidential campaign, remember they coined the term bimbo eruptions to describe women who came forward, and there were many, many more. And George Stephanopoulos, he wrote in his memoir that in 1991, Hillary Clinton said, quote, "We have to destroy her," when destroying one of Clinton's accusers. Now, we did reach out to the Clintons for comment about all of this. Of course, they never got back to us. That's not surprising, considering everything that they did, everything the Democrats and the media enabled and covered up, almost 30 years. The Clintons over these years have been given a free pass by their political party and their friends and their allies in the news media, you know, the ones they colluded with in the last campaign. And up until just a few days ago, the media and Democrats viciously attacking Bill Clinton's accusers. Here's what they said about Clinton's accusers just last year in the 2016 election. Watch this.
A trio of women who say Bill Clinton made unwanted sexual advances in the 80s and 90s. Mr. Clinton denies it. Two of the cases were plagued by factual discrepancies.
When it was Bill Clinton's problem, almost in the moment, Republicans tried to make it an issue, and it didn't work. So why is it going to work 20 years later with his wife? I just don't see it.
And the issue of Bill Clinton's past is that fair game? And
it would be if he were running for president, but he isn't. Hillary Clinton is running for president.
The big issue.
I would like to apologize to those tramps that have slept with my husband. Maybe she could have said that.
Tramps that slept with my husband. Now, while it's nice to see that some in the press are finally, nearly 30 years later, coming around to acknowledge Clinton's actions, we have to ask, what took you so long? Where were you when these accusers were coming forward? Why did you trash and discredit these women on a regular basis? And I want to tell you another thing. Unlike the rest of the abusively biased news media in this country, I did go down, take this seriously, sat down with them, let them tell their stories before I made a decision in these cases. You know what? Why couldn't the press do the same thing? Here's why. The media has protected Democrats, people like Clinton, by enabling their abusive and predatory behavior for decades. And guess what? Countless women suffered as a result. So this is important as a history lesson. We are, here tonight. Where are all the apologies to those women, the Clinton accusers, attacked by the campaign, by that war room? George Stephanopoulos worked in the war room. James Carville, smeared by Hillary Clinton, discredited by the mainstream media. Isn't it about time they all had their day of reckoning? My answer to Judge Moore is coming up later. And welcome back to Hannah.
Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. I bring you the news, the real news. What it is, everybody, thanks for tuning in. I showed the press conference, by the way, live. I've already been live for some time. You might have missed me. I've been trying to do a thing where I stream live events as they happen, interesting ones, for example. So I streamed that. Even though not a bunch of people tune in here, I'd like people to get used to it as much as I can when I'm available. I'd like to stream stuff so everybody can see it. I have to do the research anyway, so I figure might as well do it with you guys. We're talking about perverts in politics. I was just doing some research during the Bill Clinton section on Donald Trump, whose name is also in the title. We're going to see the place where the victim of Al Franken's breast grabbing. If you put in Al Franken breast grab, by the way, which is the only thing I could think to search, into image search, that's what you get. And that's the image that's out today. And I'll have her tell her story. She did it on a radio show. She's kind of already a personality. Pretty cute too. Not that that matters. I would say the same thing about a guy. Okay. We're going to talk about Bill Clinton a little bit more and what came out about him and how everybody's being exposed. Do you think it's part of the purge, the storm? That would be the only part of the storm we've seen, if it is the sexual predators being exposed. And now Bill Clinton being brought back into the spotlight. Because before October 1st, before the attack in Las Vegas, things were different. After the attack in Las Vegas, things changed. Strangely enough, it's mostly presented itself as people believing victims of sexual abuse or sexual misconduct or sexual deviance. All kinds of different cases. You could argue that Roy Moore being exposed is part of the left, but most of the other people being exposed are on the left. So you could argue there is an argument out there, proposal by some claim to have inside knowledge that the NSA had gathered up all this information and that the NSA is working with Trump on this cleanup thing, this storm thing, all these thousands of indictments things we heard about. Never happened. We're all frustrated. But now I don't know where I went. I got too animated. NSA, got it. So in these, that there's somebody on his team and the NSA, and the military. The NSA and the military are going to clean up the CIA, the FBI, etc. Right? So there's a conspiracy theory, perhaps, or maybe it's insider information, perhaps, that the NSA had hoovered up all this information about all these perverts and presented that to the victims of these offenses. And that gave courage to the women to come forward. And they're exposing Holly Weird, Mark Halperin, who was a globalist, commentator on the Joe Scarborough show, or whatever they call it, Morning Joe. So they've gone after a number of leftist supporters and such. We've seen a lot of that. So it's possible. It's possible we've seen the rain right at the beginning of the storm. I should turn up my microphone, or should I talk into it better? I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman, 39 years old today, and still waiting for a false flag. Still waiting. There's something coming, we think. Right, Doshi? That's my handler. Doshi. He's in trance, like I said, channeling, fifth dimensional, sixth density energy goes through him telepathically to me. That creates the show you're watching right now, the Lift the Veil show. Because I have to do an Alex Jones, because we have to support this show, we're going to show you at the beginning of the show how you can support it in style like this. This is one of my t-shirts, limited edition, more than halfway sold out. Some sizes sold out, all numbered, signed, and stamped of this shirt. And then there's more, all limited edition. One of 72 for the mugs, one of 100 for the stickers. Stickers ship worldwide cheaply. It's a great way to show off your love for the show. I have them on a skateboard behind me just to show. So you can do that. I have a website for it. Let me see if you can see. Oh, there's the skateboard. Look, see? That skateboard has stickers on it. They're really high quality, by the way. I don't skateboard. I did, though, at one point. Okay. You guys want to hear the real show. That's fine. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being a new subscriber. Thanks for supporting Doshi always. I see a lot of love out there in the world for him, and he appreciates that. So let me get to the news, okay? The news is Al Franken was accused of, while being on USO tour, where the comedians and the good-looking ladies come to the boys that are out in the field there, okay? During that, before he was senator, he did some bad things. He was a bad boy. So I am going to cue up this tape to show you what she said about him. And I already showed you the picture of what he's caught with. And surprisingly, she's had it all this time. I figured that was something that got supplied to her or something, but she's had it since the beginning. Just coming out and talking about it now, I'll give you the dirty details. This is Leanne Tweeden appearing on KABC radio, saying Senator Al Franken kissed and groped me without my consent. She's chosen to tell her story now, and the reaction has been swift and decisive against Senator Al Franken. So I'll try to see what the latest news is after I show you her story.
Go on or whatever. Al and I were backstage waiting to go on, and we had a little makeshift backstage area, which basically was the gym for these troops. And they had a little place cordoned off for us. And Al came up to me and he's like, well, we need to rehearse our kiss. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And I just blew him off, because I'm thinking, we don't need to rehearse the kiss. I mean, we're doing a live, 60-second skit in front of troops. We're not filming a movie, right? And so I blew him off because I didn't think he was serious. And then he kind of said it again. He's like, well, we need to rehearse the kiss, Leanne. And I'm like, okay, Al, okay, you turn your head to the right. I'll turn my head to the right. Okay, we got this. And he actually got more, excuse me, I had to take a drink of water. I'm getting nervous. It's funny. As I tell this, I'm getting worked up and I'm shaking. But as it reminded me, remember when we played the Harvey Weinstein when the girl in New York actually wore the wire, and we listened to him, and the only audio we heard of Harvey Weinstein, and he was very aggressive and very relentless.
Just go up to the room with me. Just go up. Just go up for 5 minutes.
Yes, it was relentless. That's what I could hear in his voice, right? He started getting relentless, and I'm like, why is he insisting that we have to rehearse the damn kiss? I mean, it's like a fake kiss, right?
Yeah.
This is all I could think about. I'm like, good God, Al, you know, it's not SNL, for goodness sakes, right? We're not doing this thing for real. This is just a live thing in front of troops. It doesn't matter, you know? And he's like, Leanne, you know, actors, we have to rehearse everything. You have to rehearse the kiss. And just to make it go away and to make him stop, I'm like, okay, well, rehearse the damn kiss, you know? And it happened so fast that as I'm like, okay, we're going to rehearse the kiss, you know, and as we're coming in, and I come in towards him, you know, we rehearse the line, and the line leading up to the kiss, we rehearse the line, and I'm coming towards him, and he comes up and he grabs me and he puts his hand behind my head, and he aggressively comes in and he mashes his mouth up against mine, and he sticks his tongue in my mouth. And as it happens so fast, and he puts his tongue in my mouth, and his mouth is just wet and slimy. And to this day, I call him fish lips, okay, because it's disgusting. And it's like, and how I describe it in my mind is like when a dog, when you're holding a treat for your dog, and I own a dog, and they're salivating while you're holding the treat. That's just what it reminds me of.
Well, it's an incredible violation.
Of course. And you know, my husband now was my boyfriend then. All I could think about is, why would somebody do that? He's married. I've got a boy. You know, it was just, I was violated. I was disgusted. That's not what I was expecting. All I could think about was, that's what you wrote that in the script for, so you could do that to me? I was angry. I wanted to punch him in the face. I mean,
Now,
so many things were going through my mind.
Did you tell anybody about it?
No, I didn't. No, you know why I didn't tell anybody about it? Because it was the first date of our tour. What was I going to say? No, I'm going to go out and introduce everybody else on the tour and not do Al Franken's part. I'm not going to go on stage for those 10 minutes when I'm standing next to him and he's the co-MC of the tour. So I'm going to be the difficult one?
You didn't report him to the USO rep or to the
Sergeant Major of the Army?
Major of the Army.
No.
But you did tell some of the other cast members.
Yes, and you know, and as you're going along and you're in confined court.
Okay, all right, that gives you the story of the kiss, and then I'm going to give you the story of the breasts. That's how I have it noted here, at least. Now we're on to the story of the breasts.
Literally.
So you're trying to get as much sleep on the flight as possible.
Oh, yeah.
And when you land back in L.A., the unit photographer hands you a souvenir disc of the photos from the trip. And everybody gets a copy of the disc.
Yeah.
Because they had a photographer following everybody around. So you get home, and after recovering from the trip, you pop the disc into your laptop to take a look at the pictures. And what did you discover?
Well, funny thing is, so they take pictures of everyone, and what happens is that, you know, they sort of take all these behind the scenes, you know, pictures, and I open up my photo disc, and it's, you know, all the pictures from the tour, and I get to the pictures finally at the end, you know, because they're sort of in chronological order, and the picture of me on the, you know, the pictures of us on the plane ride coming home, I'm sitting there up against the side of the plane, asleep, still in my Kevlar helmet and my flak vest, because when you're taking off from a war zone, there's always the chance that small arms fire, basically a machine gun, could hit you from underneath and pierce the skin of the airplane. So you wear your tactical gear still in the aircraft taking off. So, you know, in case you get shot through the plane, that you still have, you know, protection.
Right.
So I'm wearing that. And of course, I can fall asleep in that for 9 hours. You know, I could probably wake up in Germany out of Bagram, Afghanistan, and still be in my gear because I'm asleep. And anybody that knows me knows I can sleep anywhere, anytime for a long period of time. And I see a picture, and there's a picture of me sleeping in my gear on the plane, and there's Al Franken literally in the photo grabbing my boobs with his hands as if he's grabbing my breasts and looking at the camera and like smiling, laughing with this smirk on his face. And I'm like... After everything that happened on this tour, you know, in context, I mean, just looking at the photograph by itself, if you didn't know anything else that happened, it's still a disgusting photo.
By the way, the photo is posted now on our website at kbc.com. If you want to see the picture of Al Franken basically groping Leanne Tweeden while she's wearing a flak jacket and Kevlar helmet on a military transport, asleep, coming from Afghanistan back to Los Angeles. It's at kbc.com, as is a written statement from Leanne that you all can read at your leisure.
But can I tell you, it's after everything that had happened to me and seeing that photo later, he knew that I wouldn't see that photo until I got home.
And so would everybody else on the tour because the disc was given to everybody.
Sure. And, and maybe it was just given to me and him. I don't know. But, there were other people that were awake on that plane. And I'm sure there were obviously the photographer took it. And I'm sure other people were awake that probably were laughing at it. And maybe, the photographer is probably just taking photos of everybody asleep. Mark Wills, another country singer, was sleeping next to me. So you can see part of him sleeping next to me. And it's probably one of those things where, he thought, oh, hey, this is funny. You're taking a picture of Leanne sleeping. Hey, why don't you get this? And it's just that mentality that he thought he could get away with it and that it was funny. And then it's funny that you can grab someone's breast while they're sleeping and just think that, hey, I can get away with this. And that's that mentality that I'm like, that's funny because, when I opened that photo, when I got home, it was embarrassing. I felt belittled. I was ashamed. And I'm thinking, I've had to live with this for 11 years. I wanted to come out and like release this photo and tell the world about it 10 years ago when I got home and just be like, look at what Al Franken did long before he was a senator, long before, anything. And
why didn't you? Why didn't you come out 11 years ago?
I talked to Chris, my now husband, and he's like, why? Well, it's not worth it, because, and I even thought to myself, if I do that, back then it was a way different.
Okay.
The times were different.
All right. I think I gave you enough of it, but it's actually pretty compelling. Maybe I will keep playing it because it's good. And then I'm going to show you the reaction from CNN. They're coming down. I don't know. I heard MSNBC really came down on Franken too, trying to find the best news for it. I'll keep playing this though because it is compelling, I would say.
I was worried about my career because people are going to go, "Oh, you're a model. You've been on the cover of Playboy. You're a lingerie model and a swimsuit model, and you're a sportscaster, and you're a girl in Hollywood. Who are they going to believe you? They're just going to bury you. They're going to look for all the bones in your closet. I mean, somehow it was going to be my fault. Somehow it was going to come down on me, and he was going to skate. He was going to get off scot-free, and it was going to be. Everything was going to come down on me, and it was just not going to be worth it. It was not going to be worth the fight. It was not going to be worth the hassle.
So now it's 2017, obviously after Harvey Weinstein, a lot of people coming from forward with stories, including our friend Lauren Savant.
Gretchen Carlson, just in
all who we've had on the show,
yes,
of course.
And I think that's why,
All right, so there you did get enough of the story now, for sure. I have a reaction from CNN, and then I guess I should show you the apology itself. I'm not sure what CNN is going to say here. It's a 3-minute video. He said, well, I'm going to read you the exact statement so you have it from the news here. This is the news, right? We try. Okay, can I blow that up? There we go. Okay, this is a statement from Senator Franken. Let me see. Should I give you the whole thing? He didn't. In his first apology, he said clearly it was meant as a joke. For instance, that picture, I don't know what was in my head when I took that picture, and it doesn't matter. There's no excuse. I look at it now and I feel disgusted with myself. It isn't funny. It's completely inappropriate. It's obvious how Leanne would feel violated by that picture. And what's more, I can see how millions of women would feel violated by it. Women who have had similar experiences in their own lives, women who fear having those experiences, women who look up to me, women who have counted on me. Oh, then this is the part here. Coming from the world of comedy, I've told and written a lot of jokes that I once thought were funny, but later came to realize were just plain offensive. But the intentions behind my actions aren't the point at all. It's the impact these jokes had on others that matters. And I'm sorry it's taken me so long to come to terms with that. While I don't remember the rehearsal for the skit as Leanne does, I understand why we need to listen to and believe women's experiences. I am asking that an ethics investigation be undertaken, and I will gladly cooperate. So that's the news, is that everybody's calling for an investigation against him, including himself. I'll see what CNN had to say. I'm interested.
After being accused of groping and kissing a colleague of his without consent about a decade or so ago, Senator Franken is calling for an ethics investigation into his actions. His accuser, Leanne Tweeden, is speaking right now. Listen to this.
And then he persisted, and he's like, no, we really need to practice the kissing scene. And like, okay, Al, you just turn your head right, I'll turn my head right, we got this, you know, whatever. And he kept persisting, and I'm like, Al, this isn't SNL. We're not really going to kiss, so we don't really have to practice. And he just kept persisting, and it just reminded me of like the Harvey Weinstein tape that you heard the girl when she was wired up for the New York.
Already heard that story. Wonder if he talks more. It's the same story again. Okay, great. We already heard that. The first time she told it pretty much the same way. Exactly. He is being lambasted. Al Franken's absolutely awful apology. Here's what he first said. I certainly don't remember the rehearsal for the skit in the same way, but I send my sincerest apologies to Leanne. As to the photo, it was clearly intended to be funny, but wasn't. I shouldn't have done it. That was his first response, which they say was clearly inadequate. He insists that Tweeden is misremembering an episode in which he grabbed the back of your neck and stuck his tongue in her mouth during a rehearsal for a kissing scene, and B, minimizes a photo in which he appears to be fondling her breasts while her eyes are closed as simply a joke, albeit one in poor taste. They're upset about it. This guy Cecil, former head of the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, is upset. People are upset. Everybody's upset. Even Al Franken himself is upset with Al Franken. So that's the news on that. Will I go back to Bill Clinton before talking about Donald Trump? I opened with Sean Hannity talking about Bill Clinton in detail and how his accusers' claims need to be re-examined in these new times we live in, where people suddenly believe the little guy or the little woman in this case. Suddenly victims have a voice and people listen, and they aren't discredited. Rather, they are supported. This brave new world, which we are collectively creating moment by moment. Oh, so in this brave new world, Chelsea Handler, noted Hillary Clinton supporter to the death, you would think. This reported by the Daily Caller and elsewhere. Chelsea Handler to Juanita Broaddrick. I believe Bill Clinton raped you. Chelsea Handler apologized on Wednesday to the Arkansas woman who accused Bill Clinton of raping her in a Little Rock hotel room in the 1970s. I'll show you the tweets there. Then you have it from the source. Chelsea Handler. She wrote this tweet about Roy Moore. Imagine being molested by an older man, then that man denies ever doing it, and then goes on and gets elected to the United States Senate. What kind of message does that send to young girls everywhere, and men to all the men who abuse women? Then Juanita Broaddrick wrote back, yeah, Chelsea, I can imagine. I was raped by the Arkansas Attorney General, who then becomes governor and president. And NBC held my interview explaining the rape until after his impeachment hearing. But I'm sure you don't want to go there. To which Chelsea replied, I'm sorry, I'm just seeing this. You are right, and I apologize to you for not knowing your story. Democrats, along with Republicans and the rest of the world's political parties, all need to do better and respect the firsthand accounts of victims. I believe you. So we are looking at Bill Clinton again. It's real. Maybe. Are people being exposed for real? I don't know. Is Donald Trump going after pedophiles? You might think so. You might think so. Let's see what we know about Donald Trump. This from Huffington Post. Yes, I know it's biased, but this is one story you could find about him. Donald Trump is accused of raping a 13-year-old. Why haven't the media covered it? If you've been anywhere near Facebook or Twitter the past several months, you're probably aware there is a case working its way through the courts that accuses Donald Trump of raping a 13-year-old girl in 1994. So here's a little story about that, okay? That isn't reported too many places, but it's in a lawsuit talking about a lot of people that hung out with Epstein. But let me give you the closer ties to Epstein. And he has been tied to Epstein. And people say he's been on the Lolita Express, which Bill Clinton has also been on. So will Donald Trump clean house as far as pedophiles? Will he? You decide. Some people say so. There are ardent Trump supporters out there. I have an open mind about Donald Trump until he proves otherwise. We're waiting. We're waiting, Donald. When is the next shoe going to drop? Please. Put us out of our misery. This is another story, a real one that's reported multiple places about Trump's nominee for Labor Secretary, Acosta. I'll get his full name from the article. Trump's labor nominee, Acosta, cut a deal with billionaire and underage sex abuse case. And that billionaire would be Jeffrey Epstein. Talks about how people used to pal around with Epstein. Famously, President Donald Trump called Epstein a quote-unquote terrific guy back in 2002, saying that, quote, he's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side, unquote. Now, Trump is on the witness list in a Florida court battle over how federal prosecutors handled allegations that Epstein, 64, sexually abused more than 40 minor girls, most of them between the ages of 13 and 17. The lawsuit questions why Trump's nominee for Labor Secretary, former Miami U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta, whose confirmation hearing is scheduled to begin Wednesday, cut a non-prosecution deal with Epstein a decade ago rather than pursuing a federal indictment that Acosta's staff had advocated. See, he cut a non-prosecution deal with Epstein, then got nominated for Labor Secretary, and I believe is now Labor Secretary. So this talks about the relationship with Trump. Well, at least the relationship between Trump and Acosta. And he's also been named on and he's also neighbors with Jeffrey Epstein. And some of the girls claim one of the girls claimed she was hired at Trump's club when she was underage. And then Epstein had her over. People talk about Trump being at Epstein's house, not debated. And he did make a joke about how Epstein is a lot of fun, loves the ladies just as much as Donald Trump, but liked him a little bit younger, on the younger side. He made a joke about that. Okay, so that's a little history of Trump. Let me see. I think there was one more thing I wanted to point out. It was about Trump's sex abuse allegations being taken more seriously. It's about re-examining. I wonder where I put that article. I had an article. Oh, here. Okay. Here. Now that we're taking Bill Clinton's accusers more seriously, now that we are in this new age already, now we simply are putting imaginary things in an imaginary sequence to create the impression that we're going through time in one particular direction. In this particular moment, we're waiting. We're anxious for something to happen. But in the reality that is real, everything already happened. We've already spontaneously created it in the one moment that's real. This one right here. You watching this show with me. So be joyful. Anyway, now we're also going, in this time, as I've explained to you, in this time which is not real, listening to what Trump's accusers have told us in the New Yorker, published November 9th, 2017, re-examining many of the things that were said about Donald Trump when he was talking about grabbing PUSSY. I thought at the time that there was a campaign against him from the liberal media and that probably all of the women were paid to say that about him because it was just too perfect. There was the Billy Bush tape, and then there were the accusers talking about being grabbed by their PUSSY in some cases claiming to have been forcefully kissed. I don't know if he's one of the ones that exposes people, exposed himself to them the way Bill Clinton did and some others have been accused of doing. Talking about how Trump's charges were brushed under a rug, trying to see exactly what's going on. I'm trying to give you some of the incidents. What was he? Was he accused of? Oh. And they say because Ivana, his previous wife, said that he raped her in Trump Tower in a fit of anger over a botched scalp surgery. And then she later took that back and said that she didn't mean that Trump raped her in a literal or criminal sense, she said. So are they going to re-review that stuff? I'm trying to give you an example of what the... Okay, well, I think that's good enough. It's good enough that you're asking questions. It's good enough that you're asking questions. Even if you support Trump, it's good to ask questions. Because at the time these stories were coming out, it was before the Las Vegas debacle. After that, things changed. And then the Weinstein story came out shortly after. Welcome to 4D. I'll be your host. You want to call me? I'll put up a phone number. 650-GAY-TAXI. Oh, did I tell you guys? Halbig, Wolfgang Halbig, noted Sandy Hook researcher. I played the video in the video before this of Monograph saying that this, I'm getting the news from Monograph. I don't know how reliable it is, but Monograph says that Posner dropped the lawsuit that Halbig has been showing up for. So I called him. I called him on his number, Sandy Hook Justice. The number comes up. So I'll see if he calls me back. I'd love to talk to him about that at this point. Okay, I'm going to get all my stuff up. Discord is a great place to make friends if you think somewhat like Doshi does and just have questions about what we're told about the world. That Discord thing right there in the corner, which is here. If you put that in and you put in the lower and uppercase letters properly, then it'll take you through like a dimensional rip into the LTV chat room, which has a lot of side chats. People talk about like flat earth, or they just have memes posted all day. People are really active in there. I kind of did that loud in the microphone. Vape Nation, people say when I vape. Everybody vapes on YouTube. If you smoke cigarettes, you should quit. I never did, but I like the nicotine. Doshi likes me better when I'm on it. T-shirts, remember, lifttheveil411.com. Remember that website, lifttheveil411.com. Go there and get some stickers or something. They're cheap to mail. Sorry about shipping for everybody else, but that's just how much it costs. I don't know. I mean, that free shipping stuff is crazy. 650-429-8294. Thanks for watching my shows. Please subscribe. Please share and like. Give me the good numbers. Please tune in for a while. Listen to everything. Be mindful. Join the chats where everybody's cool. I hear I have the best chats and the best listeners around. Andro the Schmoy, I think, in Twitch asks, what flavor do I vape? I vape this flavor. I'll show you. Because it's very non-offensive. I'm a simple man. Menthol. There's too much light. You can see it. There. Menthol. That's advertising, I guess. I should maybe I'll ask him for a sponsorship. I do vape a lot on the show. It's not a bad idea. It's nice. It's a nice flavor. It's mint and menthol mix. So it's got that cool menthol feel. And it doesn't smell like anything. I could smoke it right inside, right next to Doshi. He doesn't notice. You smoke it in the bathroom when you're at a restaurant. Oh, what was I going to show you? I can show you. Well, you guys saw it. There's my skateboard. Did you see it? Oh, hold on. Twitch and Discord invite. See, back there. That has my stickers on it. The stickers are thick and high quality. That's what people are saying in the chat. Anyway, I've been promoting my gear too much, but you can always support the show. It's always good to do that. Bitcoin is at all-time highs right now. It's doing very, very well. Nobody said anything bad about me yesterday, as far as I can tell. Some people were in my chat saying that David Seaman was talking about me, but didn't find that. Oh, I'm on Twitch. What did I say? I show this Twitch link because when I talk about false flags or hoaxes, then I have to, which is somewhat often, I have to delete them from YouTube. So it's a live show that goes boom, disappears, blows up. And then it still is available with all my live shows. You might notice, you might be asking yourself, why are there so few shows? Oh, I wonder if this wasn't open. It's reloading. Huh, it's weird. Maybe that wasn't open. Reloaded. You might wonder why there aren't more videos. Well, that's why. A Call for an Uprising finally got his channel terminated. Richie from Boston had his channel terminated. Now there's Richie from Boston 2. A Call for an Uprising 2. Call for an Uprising probably had, I don't know, I think 400 at least videos. I had 500 when my original channel was taken down. I have this one over 2,000 subscribers. But anyway, what happens is you start a second channel and you get a fraction of the subscribers you had on the original channel. So I had 30,000, and then I started a new channel, built it up for a while, was up to 5,000. And then that channel got shut down. So now I'm at 2,000. So you progressively get, so you have a smaller audience, which is less people to donate. And so it makes it really, they go after your income completely, because the more people watch, the more money you make one way or another, and try to make it impossible for you to do this. And then I've been gang stalked before, you know, with my psychiatrist getting emailed and my parents getting mail. Actually, somebody in the chat, in the YouTube chat, actually sent me a letter to my parents saying I was committing crimes. I don't know what's going on. Is there something wrong with the phone? I've never seen this happen. I've never seen this happen. Is there nobody tuned in? Sometimes I don't get my phone right. Yeah, there are plenty of people tuned in. This is one of the things they did to try to get me off the internet. This is why you support me and wear your t-shirts and stuff. This is to my mom, deceased. Alleged criminal activity of your son, Nathan Stoltman. That's from, see that? Very well written. Sent the same thing to my psychiatrist, pretty much. Oh, and this was sent to the chief of detectives of the local sheriff's department, too, from Dave Swigert, aka Dave Acton, is acting out. That's one of the things that's been done to try to get me off the internet. I will not leave. I have struggled through all situations. Okay, something's going on. Something's going on. This isn't possible. At least the Espada would have called. Wow, that was crazy. I've never seen anything like that. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, Nathan.
Hey,
this is Duster.
Hey, Duster. What's up?
Nothing much. I was calling in to see if you got a chance to review those Stop Autonomous Weapons.
I didn't watch it yet.
Website.
I watched a little of it on the last thing, and I couldn't tell if I was into it or not. What's okay? I have it queued up. Hold on. Let me look. We'll see if people like
directed almost 3,000
it's a fake video, but it's a real threat.
A fake video, but a real threat. Okay.
Yeah,
that's why I didn't want to watch it.
Explain it a little bit. So the organization Stop Autonomous Weapons is a nonprofit organization that is lobbying to the U.S. government and NATO to ban autonomous weapons. So, like with drones that we use in the sky in the United States to bomb all these countries, at least it has a real person commanding it. And
for now,
and so this organization is trying to raise awareness of weapons that are currently being developed and tested, and to stop AI-controlled weaponry.
Right. Okay. I get it. That makes sense.
Yeah. And so this video is kind of highlighting the fear of it, because those drones in the video, sure, it's not real because it's just to get people to wake up and get scared into action. But those are actually
scared into action. That's my favorite way to be brought into action, is with fear. Scared into action. Yeah. What are people going to do to stop it?
They want you to go to their site, raise awareness, sign petitions.
Yeah. Well, what do you think the chances are that's going to do anything?
Who knows? I mean, that's never stopped people before, the government before. I mean, nuclear weapons was the same way. There were people trying to stop, bigger and bigger bombs, trying to stop chemical warfare being used before it was used in World War One. It's only after you see how devastating it is does it get banned.
Right. I understand. I mean, it's similar with autonomous cars because they can kill people too. So, but I think autonomous cars are going to happen, and people will realize they're okay. Okay. Well, I appreciate it, man. I understand the concern.
Yeah, sure thing.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Duster. See ya. Okay. I'll show you the video while we wait for a phone call. Maybe it's just not going to be the day to get phone calls. I don't know. Thanks for tuning in again for this show.
Guys from the good. It's a big deal. But we have something much bigger.
Phone's open.
Your kids probably have one of these, right? Not quite. Hell of a pilot? No. That skill is all AI. It's flying itself. Its processor can react 100 times faster than a human. The stochastic motion is an anti-sniper feature. Just like any mobile device these days, it has cameras and sensors, and just like your phones and social media apps, it does facial recognition. Inside here is 3 grams of shaped explosive. This
is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, Nathan. How you doing? This is Dennis.
Hey, Dennis. How's it going?
Good, man. Hey, I want to get your perspective on something, all right?
Okay.
So since Trump has become president, it seemed like he wasn't supposed to win. He won. And it seems like he defeated the established powers, and I think we can see that with Bush, the Bushes kind of coming out against him. Clinton's, everybody against him. I guess my question is, and I'm a left winger, to be honest with you. I'm no Trump supporter. I'm no Hillary Clinton supporter, but I can't figure out if he's actually a maverick. And with all the stuff we're seeing in the last month or two in Hollywood and so forth, trying to figure out what is really happening here. I'm like, is he really draining the swamp, or is this two separate powers going against each other, meaning the long-time established power versus a new type of power, or is this really Donald Trump on his own doing what he's doing?
I think the second thing, basically that it's just another crew or crime family or syndicate of some sort against the established syndicate. But I still think, I don't think Trump is a true maverick, truly looking out completely out of love of country, like some people say. And I don't know that his intentions are purely patriotic. I think a lot of them have to do with just seizing power from these people who maybe have opposed him, and he has a personal vendetta. So, but yeah, like the stuff in Saudi Arabia, I think he maybe went after some of the funding for 9/11 and some of the funding for
it's because it's really interesting because I was pretty not anti-Trump, but I just didn't believe him. But as I look around, I see some of this stuff happening, especially how the media, I think, from the media perspective of how, obviously we have a left-wing media, but, they won't go with any of those stories about Hillary Clinton. They stay on Trump. They definitely pound him, every chance they get. And rightfully so. I'm on no side of this. Rightfully so. He needs to take it. But they don't run with any of those Hillary stories. As a parent, we're looking at what we're looking at.
Right.
Yeah, it's just hard to decipher. When we, if you want to call it the truthers or whatever you want to call what we do, look for the answers out there. It's hard to decipher this. Because we're seeing, like, you and me are probably alike. We probably looked at Franken cover up and all this stuff over the years, and really having no way to talk about it. There's only a handful of people you could probably actually talk to and understand what you're talking about without them thinking you're nuts,
Right.
But now we're looking at it and this shit's coming out, things are happening. I don't know if it's orchestrated or not, but it's becoming public knowledge in a way, So,
yeah.
It's hard to decipher what we're really looking at with Donald Trump and what kind of powers that be are really running this at this point, because the main, obviously the establishment is all out for them. The media will do nothing to help them,
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's one of the things that does make it hard to decipher. Basically, it's that you want to think, okay, well, maybe he's just another part of the establishment, but then you see that the old guard, you see him really freaking out, and you see the media totally opposed to him. And that kind of makes you think, even if you don't naturally like Donald Trump, you see everybody who's opposed to him in an unreasonable way. I mean, you say it's fair. Yeah, they should go after him, but I mean, it's not in a fair way, I don't think. And that does make you kind of have more sympathy for him and maybe think that he's going to try to do something about these people. The sexual abuse stuff is really the closest you could get to maybe him doing something, maybe his NSA being involved with that, or maybe him having some relationships now with the press or his people. Who knows?
Well, Nathan, I was thinking about this, man. Like, well, I guess I already mentioned it, but it just seems like almost the hidden powers. There's like a civil war going on where
right.
One side is going after the celebrities in Hollywood and all this stuff, and then on the other side, we got the impeachment, and we got a bunch of them, like the Roy, who the hell he is from
Roy
Alabama,
Moore.
those guys getting exposed. So you got these people on the right getting exposed. You got the people on the left and major people on the left being, getting exposed. And, the left, a lot of the Hollywood actors came out, like Robert De Niro, I'll punch him in the nose, all that shit.
Right.
And I believe he got outed for something just last week or something. So, there's some orchestrating going on behind the curtain. And, people are taking it. You know, they're getting hit. You know, so it's really interesting. It's hard to figure out.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting times. So we'll see if anything comes down with the real indictments or the military taking over, like Q says, and whether any of that stuff ever comes to fruition or not. But we're in interesting times where stuff is coming out. I mean, you know, JFK files, Sandy Hook files. You know, Trump is expediting FOIA requests about Hillary Clinton. So there are some things that are actually happening, and I think the Justice Department's looking into her. That's what I think I got from Sessions' testimony. And then you see Sean Hannity also now going after Clinton. So, you know, the gloves are off. You're right about maybe a civil war.
Yeah. And I'll let you go after this. But one last comment. Is that right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, all right. Right on. Thanks. I called you like last week, and I mentioned I was the guy who asked you questions about Dave or what's his name, George Webb, and I asked you that. But interestingly enough, you know, I see what's his name, Quinn, pop up on Jason Goodman's channel.
I know. I know.
What the fuck is that, man?
I know.
I was like, to me, you know, I kind of believe what you told me that day, which I had already had a notion of, which was that these guys are all together. They have a little group or whatever they do, but the same guys pop up around. And DeFango, like, he's kind of obsolete at this point, you know.
Well,
it's interesting.
He doesn't think so, but yeah, I mean, I don't know about Quinn. I like Quinn quite a bit, and I think people were against him. I think he was getting gang stalked and stuff when I was talking to him. But then Jason Goodman, I don't know how it all works. I used to think all of them worked together. Now I don't know. But that interview got a lot of traction in our circles. I was getting people, you know, saying, oh, this AI and cryptocurrency. And I was just saying that I wouldn't take that for necessarily as 100% fact, given that Quinn is, you know, has a tendency to think AI controls everything. And, you know, but it's still interesting. And it's really interesting to see him pop up on Jason Goodman's show.
Absolutely. Well,
yeah.
Nathan, keep up the good work.
All right,
man. I
thanks.
appreciate the show. All
okay,
right.
Cheers. All right, that's cool. I can keep watching this video, take calls for a little while longer. Oh, it's been a short show so far. Well, I already covered everything. I might do a shorter show today because I've been working hard. And I've been doing, like yesterday, I streamed for a long time because I streamed after and before the show. Today, I streamed before the show. So you've gotten enough. You're getting enough. You got a lot of Doshi today, including in the press conference. And I'll leave this show up for future viewing. If you don't call, the show's just going to be a little shorter. Like I said, I'm waiting to hear from Wolfgang Halbig. I did call him. Hold on one second. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, buddy. What's up?
Hey, the Espada. How are you doing?
Good.
What's up?
We were talking about something in Discord earlier that might interest you.
Okay.
It was about all these accusations about pedophiles coming out, and it reminded me of a link that someone sent me a while ago, and it was about there was a campaign, I think, in New York, and they were trying to get a Democrat out, but what they linked me was about a kid's book called A Secret Pizza Party, and what someone was trying to do was link that guy to, because he went to a kid's school and read this book, they pretty much threw him in the category of Pizzagate.
Right.
And I've been keeping an eye on things since then. There's been a lot of this being thrown to at the left from the right. And it seems to really not be working anymore. It's just like a whole bunch of psyops to win government seats.
What do you mean, what's not working? You said stuff being thrown from which side to which side?
From the right, about the left.
Okay, and what do you mean that's not working? When you have all these guys that are basically lost their careers and are being slammed in the media and are being ridiculed and stuff. What do you mean it's not working?
Well, I don't mean Hollywood. I mean politically.
But Al Franken, Al Franken, it came out today, and they're already doing an ethics investigation.
Well, right. I don't know about that yet. I haven't really paid attention to it. But I mean, there's been some governor seats, things like that. The people have sent me these links about Pizzagate and just things they do that gets related to them.
Right,
it isn't a real connection.
Oh, right. Okay, I understand that. Well, the other thing you have to, those were kind of 4chan rumors and stuff you're talking about, and Twitter stuff, when that linking people to Pizzagate, like you said, because that guy had the secret pizza party book, and that was weird, and the emails were weird, but we didn't have accusations from anybody, so so that was going on for a long time, and all that happened before October 1st of this year when things changed. So, but all that happened without any victims giving testimony or talking to reporters or anything. So it's different.
Well, sorry, I need to be more clear. I'm not talking about victims coming out. I'm talking about the many psyops that are limited to the city where the elections are.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
That's going on, and it still goes on from every time I hear about election.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, Trump's PSYOP team basically, like Pizzagate might have been Trump's PSYOP team to some extent, and then you're saying those PSYOPs extend to trying to influence elections with fake news, kind of?
The nation, yeah.
Okay, got it.
This is like a hard, they're trying to hard take over.
Right.
What we know.
I got it. Okay, I deciphered what you were saying. All right, thanks, Diaspada. I'll think about it.
All right, bud. Take it
All
easy.
right, cheers. Diaspada's cool, but I had to translate for everybody. 650 Gay Taxi. We're only an hour and 12 minutes into the show, but that's okay. I might end it short because I covered a lot. I can't do this every day. Visit my store, lifttheveil411.com, to get your merchandise. The more you get now, the more Doshi comes later. We had first established the brand with logo and everything, and then it's going to get interesting. All limited edition. Doshi mugs coming soon. But first you have to get the other ones. If you live overseas, you can get stickers sent to you pretty cheap. It's not that much for international shipping when it's under an ounce. That's what I learned. It's funny thinking an ounce. An ounce of weed is a lot. But an ounce in a letter is not much. It's weird. Weird the way that works. Okay. Oh, great. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, Nathan. JJ calling, man.
Hey, JJ. What's up?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. I just wanted to call in and say how good you've been doing lately, man. I appreciate everything you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
Hanging in there.
Thank you.
Good man. Yeah, I just got over a bad bug, man. I'm feeling better today. Must have got like a 24-hour bug, man, because I haven't been sick in like over 2 years with taking CBD and MMS and all that shit. So colloidal silver.
Yeah, but that's all right. You got over it quick. That's the main thing. You still can get sick sometimes.
2 days. It was rough, man. Puking and everything. So.
Oh, man. Well, God bless you that you're feeling better now. What do you think's happening in the world? What do you think's happening in the world? Do you think shit's going to hit the fan?
Oh, I don't know. I think it already is, man. But I went to a class the other day to become a recovery coach.
Oh,
so
cool.
I wanted to let you know that you had part of that into that, like
that's awesome.
Getting me thinking about that. So
that's great.
I got certified now, and I'm going to start working in an emergency room in my town.
Oh wow, that's great. That's great. What was your? Were you on opioids or? Damn, I lost him. That was cool. Well, he just said that I helped inspire him to become a addiction counselor, recovery counselor, something like that. He just got certified. He's going to work in an ER. How cool is that? Because I talk about it, because I had to recover from that stuff, among other things. Many, many addictions, including doing this show, which you hope I never recover from. Do they have a program for that? I don't know. You can find, look at all these things around here. I know it's a lot. It makes the screen kind of messy, huh? Oh, I think this is JJ again. Hey, JJ, I lost you.
Hey, sorry, man. Oh yeah, something cut off. Where'd you hear the last part of me?
Oh, you said you're doing the addiction counseling and that you're working in an ER.
Recovery coach. So
recovery
way
coach.
Less red tape. Yep.
That's awesome.
Way less red tape than an AODA counselor or anything like that. It's just peer to peer. You know, just pretty much just active listening and making sure people know that they're cared about. Pretty much.
That's great.
That kind of stuff.
How awesome is that?
Yep.
Cool. I was asking you, that's awesome. And I was asking you about world affairs. I was asking you if you think shit's going to hit the fan or not.
Yeah, I don't know. They keep saying that every time. I was looking at a video from the other day from 2012, and this Professor Griff or something, I think his name was, or something like that. Black dude, he was talking about how shit was going to hit the fan in 2012, you know, so I just keep seeing these videos, these old videos that everybody keeps doing the same, you know, shit's going to hit the fan, but
it's always the end of the world.
Manipulating it where it's not.
Yeah, yeah, maybe we need to get used to that, the new normal. Hurry up and wait. Yeah, you're right. People have been saying it for a long time. So, all right, cool.
I don't fear anything, man. Just Yahuwah. That's it.
Awesome. That's great.
Yep.
Well,
cool. Good man. All right.
Good to hear from you,
man. We'll see you later.
Okay.
Bye,
thanks, JJ. See ya. Hey, awesome. That's a great story. It's good when people give me stories about how they've changed their lives or whatever, or how they're changing. We all have to change. I had to change quite a bit. Had to become a better person. Well, you know, that's subjective, but I'm just thinking. I've gotten a lot of calls. The only reason I'm going on is because it's been a short show still and people kept calling. I'll maybe take one more call and then I'll take off. Thanks for everybody for watching. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for caring. Thanks for going to the Discord chat. Like I said, I recommend it. If you're lonesome, if your significant other doesn't see things the way you see things, you might want to find a new significant other, which you can find on Discord, from what I understand. Don't do that. Your significant other will wake up eventually. Maybe you guys can have a real conversation eventually. Sorry. Making you feel bad? Well, why do you think I have a radio show? It's so that I can find people that I can talk to that are sort of like, think about the same things. Otherwise, I don't talk to anybody. Nobody talks to me. Okay, I think I got all the calls to get. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show early today. Thanks for tuning in when stuff is live. Please remember to look for this channel. As long as I'm within range of my studio, when shit does hit the fan, which we've been expecting, and we predicted last week, this week, we're going to keep hearing people. Now we're going to say something's going to happen on Thanksgiving. When will it happen? Well, when it does, tune into this channel or tune into twitch.tv/lifttheveil411. The reason I have the Twitch is it's a permanent address where they don't censor stuff yet. Stuff is being censored. Stuff is being censored. Even characters like Baked Alaska kicked off Twitter. We're seeing it happen. Well, I was talking about YouTube channels. It's only a matter of time until those channels that had their channels terminated have their next channels hit flagged. And then their next channels, the same has happened to me. But when you get to your third channel, you get a fraction of the subscribers from your second channel. So you start getting less and less and less because it takes time to build this stuff. Not everybody gets your video where they find out your channel was terminated. Not everybody sees that and subscribes to the new channel. So people are going to have to come to Twitch, probably. And I sometimes do exclusive streaming on there that I don't do elsewhere. And one day I might do a show about the protocols of the learned elders of Zion, which I wouldn't do on YouTube because it would probably get pulled right in the middle of the broadcast. So that's it. Tune in every day almost. Might not be here tomorrow because I did 2 days in a row, but if news breaks, I'll be here, and I might be here anyway because I like to do my show. That's at 1:11 p.m. Pacific time, also on Sundays, generally not on Saturdays. 1:11 p.m. Pacific time, 4:11 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you for joining me. That's what it is.